Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the channel. As of late, we've done a couple things. We've looked at a couple things such as virtue and the five pillars, and then we talked about being ethical. Um, and talking with some of the people who look at this thing, at these videos, and on the other channel, I work with a bunch of younger men, and they're really struggling with keeping things together, so to say. They're trying to strike a balance. It's a lot of them. It's a dual income family with children, and children take up a lot of time and space. I understand that. I've been there. I've done that. I'm into the grandchildren now, which is a whole different story. Um, but young parents, young people out there trying to, you know, do something to break out of the workaday life and generate uh, something for themselves, their own business. They run across a lot of challenges. I thought I would do some research on maintaining focus on long term goals through daily challenges. And I went on to the internet and I've looked at a couple things and I've used some AI. And this is some of the stuff I've come up with, and it's good stuff. It helps me in my daily basis when I do these things. Talk about virtues and ethics and stuff like this. I'm doing it for myself as well as for anybody else that it may help. So maintaining focus on long-term goals despite daily challenges can be challenging in itself, but there are strategies that you can employ to stay on track. And I'd like to lift some tips to help you navigate your daily challenges while staying committed to your long-term objectives. Number one, make sure that you set clear and realistic goals. Write them down. Clearly define your long-term goals. Break them down into smaller, more achievable milestones. And I do that myself. I break down a big goal and I got to do A, B, C, D, E before I can get to that final goal. There's so many steps that you have to keep track of. And if you have that stuff written down, it's easier to keep track of it. Also, ensure that your goals are realistic and align with your values and priorities. Don't cause conflict within yourself because you place someone that you're engaged with, a spouse or a child or something. If you're in pursuit of something as a team effort, and marriage is a team, make sure that what you're going for matches up with your values and priorities, because if you don't, you're going to create an internal conflict which is detrimental to both your mental physical health. So make sure that those things match up. Number two, create a daily routine. Establish a daily routine that includes dedicated time for working towards your long-term goals. Now, I'm a journaler. I got a journal and I write down goals and things that I'd like to accomplish, and they stay in front of me over time. If I realize that I'm not going to get it done today or this week, but I do set it out there in a future date. And as I stare at that goal at the bottom of my journal every day, and I transfer it over every day. Okay. And I see that it's not moving. I understand it's not moving along, but I look at it every day and I get to think about it. So as time progresses, my ideas change about it, and it gives me a better idea of how to set those individual goals. Part of the daily routine also might be getting up at a certain time, having breakfast. And this is tough when you're married with young children. You've got 1,000 things to do to get them moving in their direction. Um, you know, me, I get up at 4:30 in the morning, and the reason I get up at 4:30, and Sometimes it goes to 5:30, but normally 4:30 in the morning, I'm up and have breakfast, and I'm sitting in the office and putting my thoughts together on a daily basis. And then I have other routines like 3 days a week I go for a walk. I try to get some exercise, and then I throw in some fishing and stuff like that, just to keep my body and spirit aligned. Uh, Also, the consistency of daily routines can help form habits. Okay, like having breakfast, uh, keeping not laying off the coffee till an hour or so after you wake up. Let all the chemistry settle out of your brain and from the sleep cycles. But consistency can form habits, making it easier to stay focused amid daily challenges. If you've got a plan, something's going to interrupt them, but you can easily redirect because you have a plan. And next, let's talk about prioritizing tasks. You must identify the most important tasks that contribute directly to your long-term goals. Examples may be if uh, if you want to start a YouTube channel. And I'm not an expert, but you got to learn about lighting. You got to learn about sound. You got to learn about cameras, camera angles, how to 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 make the vision pleasing to the people you want to get the information to. So all those tasks had to go into the long-term thing of creating a YouTube channel. So that's an example. Uh, Prioritize those tasks and tackle them first. You really can't have a success. A YouTube channel requires that you learn lighting and camera and sound along the way and get better and better, but prioritize these tasks and tackle them first, especially during your most productive hours. Now, I've talked about what time I get up every day. And my most productive hours are early in the morning. My mind is clear from the clutter of the day where you have challenges you've had to meet and you get knocked off balance. So that those few hours in the morning is when it's really important to me. Stay organized. This is so important. Use tools like calendars, planners, project management apps to keep track of your tasks and deadlines. Now, I told you I'm a journaler, but I'm also a big user of the Google Calendar. If there's meetings or something I need to do, then I am involved in making sure that I keep those things up and get notifications, send myself notifications. Hey, this Zoom call at noon today, or Zoom call noon tomorrow. Then it gives me another one before it happens, so it stays afront and I'm prepared for it. Also, breaking down larger tasks into smaller, more manageable steps. If the task is overwhelming, you can't see when you're in the heat how you're going to ever get it done. It's like I ask some of the guys sometimes, I say, how do you eat an elephant? And they look at me and they're unsure, and I say, one bite at a time, baby. Just one bite at a time. That's how you eat an elephant. And then let's talk about, this is section 5, adaptability and flexibility. Understand that daily challenges are inevitable. Be flexible and ready to adopt your plans when necessary. Focus on what you can control and let go of things beyond your control. Look, you can't control how your coworker is feeling that day. You can't control how that general contractor that you're doing work is feeling that day. You have no ability to do that. You have no ability to read minds. So understand that sometimes you're going to have those challenges, and don't let it affect you, because bad attitudes spread far more easily than a good attitude. A good attitude is the hardest part. Number 6, be mindful and manage your stress. Practice mindful techniques to stay present and manage stress. Me, I get out and walk, or I sometimes go for a fish. I work in the garden. So I've got all these little outlets that help me break out of the stress and realign my thoughts and take a fresh view at some of the things that tend to gain up on me. Practice breaks, deep breathing or meditation that help you maintain a clear and focused mindset. And I do that. You know, at one point in my life, I had a 2 hour drive twice a day. And I called that my prayer time. And it was just me talking to myself, or I called it talking to God. And a lot of times, a lot of answers came up to me that were solutions that helped me. So take meditation into account. It can help clear and refocus the mindset. Number 7, celebrate small wins. Acknowledge and celebrate the small victories along the way. And you have those aha moments. You get them. You get them whenever you're doing something and you're working on your task, and all of a sudden you go, oh, this is how this works. That's good for you. Acknowledge it. Don't look at it in drudgery. Recognizing progress, no matter how minor, can boost motivation and keep you moving forward. You see it every day. If you're in the sales, you're in sales and you're just starting out and you're bumbling along like I do on these videos from time to time, but you're bumbling along when you're talking to a customer. He asks things that you may not have been prepared for, and you get to bumbling along, and then as several months roll by and you've had conversations with multitude of clients, you have learned the product information so that you're getting better and better and better. Well, that's the thing that applies to whatever you pursue in life. um, Me, I've done several things just to accomplish, like ham radio operator. Okay, that Morse code, that deep deep dot dot dot, that was real tough for me for some reason. Making the connection, that was real tough. I could understand all the electrical laws, Ohm's laws, and all those things, and resistors and frequencies. That stuff was real easy, but they want you to be able to transmit and receive for certain license at a minimum speed of Morse code. Now I'm probably out of practice and probably couldn't do it, but it was part of that gaining those boosting motivations, learning that small stuff. And here's an important one. Number 8, seek support. Share your long-term goal with friends and families or colleagues who can offer encouragement and support. Now, this is a tricky one. I've studied both sides of that, and a lot of times, family and close friends will be the first ones to try and convince you not to do something. Not because they don't want to see you successful, it's because they don't want to see you hurt. So sometimes you have to be tough, and if your friends or colleagues or whoever you choose to confide in, and they're not supportive, you need to put them in a different place. When you're dealing with them, you can still go to ball games with them, still have barbecues with them, but understand that, and they may inquire, hey, how's that going? You say, oh, it's going good, good. And it may change over time, but don't let those people you care the most about do the most damage by telling you the negative side of what you're trying to accomplish. Okay. Discussing your challenges and progress can provide valuable perspectives and insights. Someone you're talking to, and I try to be a mentor for a lot of guys. So they're facing challenges with the family and work, and they're trying to strike a balance, and it's always a struggle. And they come in, and you could tell that they're kind of wore out. And you josh them around and you try and give them the support and say, hey, man, It's part of being a man. You just got to get up and get her done. And that which does not kill you will make you stronger. And give them all. Sometimes you got to kick them in the butt, but make sure you do it in a loving fashion, because they're just trying to get motivated in the tough spot. Number 9, reflect regularly. Set aside time for regular reflection on your goals and the progress you've made. I go back through my journal and I see all the stuff that I've accomplished, like, doing work around the house, landscaping, rewiring the basement for lighting, all those things. And you go back and you reflect on, hey man, that's an accomplishment. It looked good. So make sure that you set aside time to reflect on, and man, this feels good that I've made this much money through my sales efforts or whatever. Adjust your approach based on what's working well and what needs improvement. You have to do that. You have to do that. If you're turning out work and it's not being rewarded, or it's not generating some kind of excitement, whether it be through revenue or popularity, and you need to make this thing happen, then you need to take a look at your approach and maybe try something different. Number 10, maintain a positive mindset. That's the toughest one with the people I work with, is getting them to maintain that positive mindset. Focus on the positive aspects of your journey rather than dwelling on the setbacks. Brothers, sisters, it's tough sometimes. You got to stay focused. You got to stay focused on how good things are, because there's a lot of people out there that cling to the bad things for whatever reason. And I acknowledge there's bad things, but I think we should cling to the positive aspect of this journey called life that we're on. And cultivate a growth mindset, seeing challenges as opportunities for learning and improvement. All right. And then learn from challenges. When a challenge is put in front of you, in a metaphysical sense, it's the opportunity for you to grow and strengthen. View challenges as learning experience. Analyze the setbacks to understand what went wrong and how you can improve. Use each obstacle as a chance to refine your strategy and approach. Okay? Well, that's a lot, and I'll post these notes down below so you can read them yourself. And this is kind of a long video here. Let me look. Yeah, 18 minutes. Remember that the journey toward long-term goals is not always a straight line. It seldom is. It's all over the place, man, when you're going about and you're trying to make it's normal to face obstacles, but your ability to stay focused and resilient will ultimately contribute to your success. All right, everybody, I hope you got something from this. I know that I did when I was doing my research on staying focused in times of challenge. No matter what, you're going to be faced with challenges. Life is going to challenge you with something, somehow, some way, all the time. And it's how you look at a challenge and how you react to a challenge will develop who you will be on the other side of that challenge. And you can choose to be the conqueror. It just takes that determination. All right, well, I guess that's going to wrap it up. Listen, on those, make sure you give me a thumbs up over here, and there's a subscribe thing right here. Make sure you give me a subscribe somewhere in here if you enjoyed the content. And if there's anything that you need to hear about, or something that bothers you or troubles you, or you think that you need to work on and you would like to have somebody to bounce it off of, feel free to contact me. Feel free to send me a note, and I'll either generate a video on it or send you a personally. We can start a conversation. Look, I want you to be successful. That's the most satisfying thing I've found in my life, is to find that through association you've helped someone achieve their life goals. Anyway, thanks for watching. Make sure that that gun phone has been going off, man. It's sickening. Have a grateful day, and we'll see you in the next one.